Hello and welcome to the 13th video recipe. Yes, I know it's been a while, but I can only apologise for that. I have been busy sorting out other stuff during the lockdown. I'm going to bring you a real treat, a helicopter and a plane buzzing around the area. No, I'm going to do maple and pecan biscotti. I've got 9 ounces of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. Now, in order to make this incredibly light, this needs to be sifted as well as mixed in. So, let's put into this. And just tap the sides. So, leave that to one side. What we now do, we now add 175 grams or 7 ounces of caster sugar, a shot of vanilla extract, and approximately 50 grams of butter. Now this has to be at room temperature. I think this is actually slightly warmer than room temperature, but that's not a problem. Keep the wrapper, and a curious one, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. And this needs to be creamed together. Now, because the butter is super soft, there's a little bit of liquid as well with the oil and the vanilla. This shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. So there we have it. Now I want 1 egg. Again, room temp makes it easier to beat in. Just really fold it in. That's what it should look like. Now it's a fairly simple process. All the wet ingredients into the dry, and we simply fold together. Now you need to get as much of this out as possible, otherwise the mixture will be a bit too dry, so take your time. Just keep stirring until you have almost all the flour gone. About that sort of texture. And what we now do, we grab in 200 grams of pecans. Now, yes, this is a Christmas packaging. I've got them when they're on clearance, so don't worry, they'll be fine. 200 grams of pecans, in they go. You don't need to toast them. It's not the pecan coffee cake. And that just gets folded in. Oh, I forgot something. I actually forgot something that'll make this a little bit more liquid. Silly old me. 50 ml of maple syrup. Now this is way too sticky to work with at the minute. So this needs to go into the fridge for at least half an hour, ideally more, especially if you're making this in the summer months because it's quite warm. It needs to cool completely before you work with this, otherwise you will end up being very rough, very ready, overworking the dough, and it won't work as well. So I'll see you in 30 minutes. Right. I've got a baking tray, large baking tray with baking parchment, and the oven is getting up to temperature, gas mark 5. Now what we do, put a little bit of flour, not too much, we don't want the cookies to become dry. We get a spatula and we scrape out the now chilled mixture. Okay, and now this is the tricky part. Bench scraper, and very, very carefully it's already starting to crumble off. Okay. I think it's there we have it, and that's not bad. Now that will expand a fair amount. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pastry cutter to split it into two and to do a bit of fine tuning. So you've got that. Now there's a good few inches away from each other, as they'll expand when they bake. They go into the gas mark 5 oven for 35 minutes. See you then. Let's check on. Woo! They're done. That's done. Okay, gas mark 4. That leaves to cool for 10 minutes. Okay, just so it hardens up a little bit. These have had about 10, maybe 15 minutes to cool. This is the bit which I'm not particularly keen on because it can easily go wrong. This is the one point you don't want to have to redo. Serrated knife. And as you can see, it's not gone well. It's very fragile, this process. You've got to do it whilst they're still warm, but not too warm. And the wider you make the loaves, the more tricky this becomes. So that's the first loaf. That didn't really work that well, but okay. That's what you're left with. They go into an oven at gas mark 4 for 10 minutes. See you in 10 minutes. Right, the biscotti have had 10 minutes at gas mark 4. Take them out, and we need to flip them over for another 10-15 minutes. Now they go back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Okay, they've been in for about 12-14 minutes, second half. And look at that. That is what you call beautiful. Let's zoom in. Look at that. Deep golden brown, just how I like them. That's the good news. The bad news is they now need to cool completely on a wire rack. However, because I took the end pieces out because they didn't need to be cut through twice because the one end is solid already, I can at least tell you how they sound. This is the end piece of biscotti, maple pecan. This is how it should sound. Oh wow. Can someone get me a coffee? Absolutely gorgeous. Sweet, buttery, rich, decadent. Oh man. That is what a biscuit should be like. I've been Andy Strum, Colin, Bunyan, okay, Jack and Jack. Good night.